Good morning, everybody. It is 11 o'clock, Wednesday, second rendition of the week. I'm going to jump right into it. And just for the record, I know a bunch of people have asked me to kind of accelerate some of the stock picks. So I'm going to try to do just that in the sense of going over them and try to line up specifically what I'm looking at, what I'm buying, or what I have bought, what I've sold. And hopefully that could help you. I do give a little bit of a quick summary of the market, just a backdrop, just so you guys can understand. When you see these videos, you understand the landscape of what's taking place. I think it's good to understand that. So, as I start off with the backdrop of the market. The QQQs, which is the NASDAQ, is down. We'll go to the NASDAQ index. Today, down again. It had that relief rally that we talked about on Monday after that big, nasty Friday, but it fell. It caught its support level right at the 50. Monday, a really nice day up. Tuesday, we gave back, I think it was like 30 points, not much. Today, giving back a little. The 21 is 25.53. We're at 25. So we're still above the 21. So still above that key number of the 21-day moving average, still healthy, expecting pullbacks are usually part of the way this goes. Bitcoin getting a little thrashed right now this morning, coming back down. We obviously want to make sure that we don't lose this low, but I prefer not losing this low, which is right about where we're at. And Bitcoin has just been choppy over the last couple of weeks and hasn't been able to get out of its own way. I'd love to see when these moving averages converge. However, we did have the 200 and the 50 converging, but usually not the way you want to see it. So, as I do, I buy Bitcoin just because I'm a bull, but Bitcoin, but doesn't mean you have to go out and make any irrational decisions. Gold having a really nice rebound. I think gold might have carved out its low. I said I wasn't interested in it a couple days ago. Well, that big move 2 days ago was nice to see, and now above all major moving averages. Obviously, if you were a trader, a confirmation trader, you'd want to wait till it breaks above this, but that's quite a bit of way away. Anyways, I did buy hard gold on Costco's website again the other day. I've been buying gold going back for a while. I saw a little bit of a price that was, so this is called spot. And it was basically on Costco's website at spot price, which you never really get. So I bought a couple gold coins. I don't really buy anything like the ETF would be the GLD. And I don't really buy that. That's not really something I trade, but this is the GLD if you want to trade it. So if you want exposure to gold without buying hard gold, that could be the way you look at it. So, all right, let's jump into the stocks that have worked and what hasn't worked and what you need to be aware of this week. Let's go through what I laid out and which I think is still actionable. Let me start by saying this. I think the theme for the end of this year and next year is going to be a resurgence of the biotech names. I'm pretty convinced of it the more research I do. Biotechs have kind of just been the laggard. XBI, if you want to play biotechs, is here. This is the ETF. But furthermore, let's jump into one that I did buy that was in that space. I called this out about a week and a half ago. This has done tremendous for me. I'm up 20% on this here, and I actually still think this is actionable. This is a stock, for the record, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes. This is coming out of its box, and it is breaking out here, and this is a real breakout here. This would be prototypical if it could get over that area. I still own this. I still think this is actionable. This has been a good hold for me for the last week and a half. I think I caught this at a good time, and like I said, I'm almost up 20% on that. So that would be an action item. Lilly. I told you guys when I bought this was right on earnings. This has been great for me. It did hit 1,000. I mentioned I was hoping 1,000. Look, I mean, it's riding this moving average. I don't want to sit there and say you need to buy it, but I said any pullback to the 5 is probably healthy, and I would look at it with an opportunity to enter. It's a little extended over the 5. Maybe wait a second and don't force that one. OpenDoor, which I bought on the day, more of a conviction play. I think this is actionable. I think you could buy that. I think this is ready to go. Trigger point above the top of this wick which I was watching, and we have broken, for the record, and I'm just going to draw this real quick, and I will be very precise. For the record, this broke uh, the downtrend line. So it's broken above that. To me, this is actionable and this is ready to go. You can buy open, obviously, manage your risk appropriately, but I think open is ready to go. I own open. I've bought shares. I bought shares this day. It was probably one of my largest purchases in a while. So I think open is an actionable item and ready to take you up higher. AMD, I mentioned on Monday's video I bought back, or I bought a bunch of shares that I sold. I kind of knee jerked that thing last week and I bought more shares. I got lucky, I guess, up 9% today on Lisa Sue's symposium yesterday. She's the CEO and she really talked about talked about their dollars, their ramp up, their AI. Here's my stance. I think if you're going to pick, a semiconductor chip that's correlated to AI, NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD. I think AMD is going to be the winner. I think AMD has much more upside. This is a conviction play for me. I did add to my long-term shares and my trade. I actually think this is actionable as well. I mentioned this on Monday when it was actionable. I think now it's even more so actionable. So when I say actionable, you could potentially trade this stock or for an entry. And 9% up today, but I'm not too scared about this because I think it's going to break above the all-time high. So I think this is going higher. Um, Here's one that I got in. I knee jerked, but I bought back on Friday. And Dutch Bros now above the averages, just trying to get above the 200. So I'm not, admittedly, I traded the stock last year. I got it right one big time last year, and then every time this year I've got it wrong. I've been stopped out countless times. I'm enough of a trader to say it. I've got stopped out 5%, 5%, 5%. I have it in my long-term account in my IRA. It's actually doing great, but I bought it way back in the day. But I made a great trade. Hasn't worked. And last week I mentioned it just, again, I got stopped out last week. And then I saw this hammer candle on Friday. And even though it was right below here, I was like, shit, I got to get in. I mentioned on Monday, I bought shares again. It's having a good day today. I think part of that is the reason, well, one, they're announced that their food is rolling out on every store. I think I'm going to take 30 seconds. Coffee is a must almost for this whole country, right? Everybody drinks coffee. It is in high demand. But the beans are not made in the United States. They're made in other parts of the world. So they're sourced and they're subject to tariffs. However, Scott Bessent this morning said that there's going to be relief for the coffee industry in the form of tariffs. We don't know specifically, excuse my neck here, we don't know specifically what that means. However, the stock received the news pretty good. I mean, I'm happy I bought it here. I would love to see it break above $60. I'm going to see how this closes. I will adjust my stop loss because when I did buy it on Friday, I bought it with a 7% loss. I'm up now. I don't know. I'm up like 4 or 5%. I might adjust that, but I think Dutch Bros is something you can put on your watch list. I think it's an actionable item. I know I haven't got this one right. I've got some stocks really pinpointed right over the years. This one is just, I just think this is now finally the time. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put myself out and say I think this is actionable. All right. What else is actionable? I mean, my shorts. You know what? Let's not go down the path of shorts just yet. Let's go down the path of anything else that's actionable here. Robinhood, I think, is actionable. I bought that on Friday. Was it Thursday? Sorry, Thursday. And I'm really looking. I want the stock to get above 132.25. So for you guys that are watching, that's your trigger point. 132.25 is what I found on my charts. I jotted that down. So that's right. So basically here in the middle of the wick. So, and I think that was, yeah. So we just got to get to 132.25. That would be your trigger point. If you'd like to set yourself a buy, I would set a buy on that with a 7% stop, kind of laying out a trade. I think that potentially could work out in your favor. Your stop would probably be the bottom of this wick, which is the low of that Friday, is where I would look at the bottom. So a good risk versus reward. If you could buy it at 133 and then set your stop at 122, 121, maybe right below this wick, 121. I think that's an actionable item. I'm in that trade. So yeah, that's one that you could look at. But please give yourself confirmation. Wait till it hits 132. Don't buy it yet. Please don't buy it yet. Wait till it confirms the setup. Let the setup come to you, confirm it, fools rush in. So, okay. Um, okay. United is one that I'm now back to watching. I have not got back into it. I got stopped out here. I had a great trade from here. I got out of shares here. I got back into calls here, got stopped out here. And now it looks like it's curling up above the 5. The converging averages stacked. My trigger point is 355. If you guys want a trigger point, that would be it. It has not confirmed, but that's an action item. You should have it on your watch list. Also, another theme that I think is going to do really good next year, or it's OPEC. Whoa, what happened here? OPEC has flooded the market in oil and gas, so I think the demand is down right now. But I think oil and gas stocks are going to really resurge towards the back end of this year. So keep an eye on that. So I think that's everything for the long side. I don't really have much else on the long side. Um, let's see. Yeah, no, that's it for the long side. So I laid out some potential stocks that you can buy. I think that are set up nicely. I'm going to go back into the shorts again. I have been day trading and shorting Regetti every time it comes up. Boom, I shorted it again on Monday. Came Monday afternoon, I took a short on that. Back down, release their earnings. Sure enough, they have no earnings. They make like $1 million in sales. Ridiculous. IONQ, another one. I mean, these are stocks that the way you would, if you're if you understand options, you could take them in puts. What you want to do is you want to see them come back up to a moving average and gets hit down, kind of like what happened yesterday. Hence why I did IONQ yesterday on a short. I'm in it now, but I'm going to probably exit that short again. These are trades that are fast. For you guys that are not well versed in this, and probably not the best idea, but for you guys that enjoy day trading and maybe you're in front of a computer, Regetti, IONQ, these are stocks that can day trade them on the short side. Um, and I think they're going to give you probable setups. Okay. I'm going to go a couple. BE, sorry, I didn't mention this. I got stopped out this morning and I had to buy back in. So I lost 6% this morning and I bought back in. The reason I bought back in, I got stopped out literally when the market opened. And then I bought back in a couple bucks cheaper. So I guess that worked out. But not necessarily will it work out because I mean, it's still red, almost 4%. But so here was a 21. I happen to like the stock. I said it was an investment. I guess by my nature, I set a stop loss when I bought it, and my stop loss was only 7% or 6%. It's usually the way I am, and I thought I'd set this a much wider stop loss. I guess I'm just programmed. I keep setting these stop losses when I buy stocks. It's just my discipline. In any case, the reason I didn't like that on this stock, and people make mistakes, is I said this stock is more of an investment for me. So I just bought it back and my stop loss is down here. So it is a major move. The stock would have to lose like $25 a share for me to be forced out of it. I look at this as more of an investment. So I think for you guys that like long-term plays, I think Bloom is going to perform well for you. And then I'm gonna lay out just a couple options that you guys can look at. Look, I think UPS, I labeled this a couple months ago, and I mentioned I bought this in my IRA. UPS is, I think, worth holding in a long-term account. I said this when it was trading at 85 bucks. I still hold it. I bought it in my IRA. I think UPS is going to recover. So this is not a trade. This is an investment. I just want to make this, make it aware to you. It got beat down. They've made some shifts in management, and I think they're righting the ship, kind of say. So I think that's a stock you could look at for your long-term account. Another one that you can potentially look at for your long-term account is, again, NVO, Novo Nordisk. I mentioned this. I'm waiting for it to carve out a bottom, and I want to see if this is it. This could be a double bottom pattern right here, here, and here. This can be a phenomenal trade next year. And once I get confirmation, I'm not there yet, but once I get confirmation, I am going to load the boat on Novo Nordisk. But for you guys that have a little bit more patience, and you're okay investing in, and you work a job and you just don't watch these things daily, it's a good stock to put in your long-term account, your IRA. At this valuation, I just don't think you're going wrong. I think long-term, this is going to still get you to $100. I think this is going to be 100% return on investment. For the record, I traded this last year when it was over $100, or I traded it from 60 to 110. It was one of my good trades last year. And I think it's carving out a double bottom here. I think this is going to look great. I think this is going to be a trade that you should put on your watch list. All right, I think that's it for me today, guys. I'm going to be back for, fuck. Palantir, just so everybody's asked me. Palantir, so look over to the screen and you're going to see your moving averages, right? It's below the 21, but it's still above the 50. Kind of not necessarily in no man's land, but you got to make sure it closes above the 50. I tell you this all the time. I said it Friday. I foolishly sold shares on Friday and it closed above the 50. Now I look like I don't want to say I look like a genius because I don't, but by no means. I still have 40% of my original position in PLTW, but you need to close to stay above here. It's got to respect that line, and it very well could. It could get a nice bounce here, and you could be in good shape. There's still no confirmation to buy, and I mentioned this on Monday. This is not ready to buy. Don't buy. Do not buy PLTW. I don't think it's ready yet. I'll indicate when I think it's ready to buy. I just don't think it's there yet. PLTW is the way I trade this. All right, so that's it. Market a little bit down today. I'm going to go ahead once again and post my affiliate link for FinViz Elite in my link. I mentioned it. One, yes, I do earn a couple shekels if you guys sign up. You get a discount, I think, with my code. I don't know, whatever code. I'm going to put it in my comment section. I use this for my screener every weekend, is how I screen stocks, how I create my watch list. I use it to understand, as an example, I use it to understand a lot of metrics that are important to me. All over here, I use certain indicators, which I add. Insider buys here or insider sales in this situation, EPS. Anyways, I'm done plugging them. If you like to look at it, look at it. And my final word is the market pulling back here. I want to be clear, and I'll sign off with this. Above these averages, this is healthy. We got our support at the 50, still clinging here over the 21. Don't get all up in arms about it, but be flexible. You got to be able to shift and move to the market. You have to differentiate an investment from a trade. If you're an investor long term, a lot of things are going to work out for you in some regards, and some things are not going to work out for you. You still need to research your companies and understand what you're stashing in your long term or IRA. If you're a trader, you need to respect these rules, and these rules are guardrails to protect you. Selling and stop losses work like insurance, and I suggest you use them. I think that's it for me for the day. I'll be back on Friday. Keep an eye on the market, and I'm signing out. Thanks again. Don't be a putz.